Welcome everyone to BuildPass HQ for our first ever product launch. Since we started BuildPass, we always wanted to have one of these in-person events, so it's special to see you all here today. In the room, we've got customers, investors, industry partners, and in reflection, some of you guys have been with us since the start. And when I thought about that, it's like, you guys were a little bit crazy. You took a bet on a couple of guys who didn't know much about the construction industry. We had a half-baked product and frankly, not much of a plan of what we were going to do next. But we're very grateful because of you crazy people, because that is the reason that we are here today. So fast forward to today, and we've come a long way. We've got 40 plus staff. I think it's actually 46 globally, over 500 customers. We've got projects across 4 countries, and over 150,000 workers have now used BuildPass. But this is only the beginning, because we are on a mission to build the world's smartest operating system for construction sites. Operating system, what do we actually mean by that? So when we say operating system, alongside our customers, we want to set a new standard for the construction industry. One of zero wasted time and peak efficiency. One where not only the projects get better, but the people's lives who are working on those projects get better as well. Our view is that you shouldn't need 5 different apps to run a construction site. You should be able to do it all through BuildPass. And I'm proud to announce that today is a step forward towards that future. Today, we're not going to be releasing just one, but 2 of our most highly requested features that we've ever had. We're going to be walking you through our view of what we think the future of construction work looks like. We'll be talking through a connected construction ecosystem and some of the amazing partners that we've integrated with. And without further ado, I would like to introduce you to Brendan and James for our first major release.
So, these are the cards you've been dealt for the next 10 minutes, which is myself, Brendan, the designer, and James, the engineer. So I just do a lot of talking, and James does a lot of the building. That's why he gets 5 stars, and I only get 4.
Generous.
So what I'm just going to take you through now is we're going to be framing up the opportunity. Then we're going to be showing you a bit of an exciting demo of this release. I haven't told you what it is yet. And then we'll show you a bit of what's next as well. So today I'm going to be talking about something that just makes sense. But before I do, let's just quickly walk through the evolution of BuildPass. The BuildPass evolution. So this kind of started off as something where we knew who was on site, the workers sign on, people are compliant, we do a lot of site activity stuff, inductions and issues that are happening on site today. We also know what's on site, things relating to defects, the progress on checklists, a bit about plant and equipment. And we also know the schedule. We know who's the tasks are for and who they're assigned to, and the sequencing of those tasks. We know what's connected to the site and the everyday changes when we need to communicate things up and down the stream from the office to the site, and that's the reality of it.
We don't do that last bit, actually.
We don't do the schedule.
We don't do the schedule.
We don't do the schedule.
That part we don't do.
But that's really weird, because what does it look like when you don't know the schedule? People's schedules aren't connected to what's happening on site. That's a very, very weird scenario to play out. We've got people using outdated tools. We won't mention which ones. And we've got some physical whiteboards on site that you get written up in the morning, and by midday, they're already outdated because shit changes on site. That's the reality of it. You're calling other subcontractors, figuring out where they are, where that delivery was. And then you've got people on site just not knowing what the plan is. So what if BuildPass, which knows everything that's on site, also knew the plan? We're talking about BuildPass scheduling. Now that just makes sense.
All right, but BuildPass. It takes so long to make a schedule.
We have heard this from a lot of our customers we've spoken to in the last few months. However, we've decided to make that fast and easy. Just describe what the project is. We're going to use a lot of AI in the background to essentially just create that schedule for you, just like that. You can also import the schedule. You're in the middle of a worksite right now. You've got a bunch of stuff. Maybe it's on the whiteboard. Maybe it is stuck in MS Projects on a computer that no one's looking at. And you can just grab that file, screenshot it, send it to BuildPass, and we'll recreate that for you inside of our system.
Okay. But BuildPass, I can't have the team mess with my schedule, especially by accident.
Cool. So we know that a lot of people want to view this schedule. Sometimes they accidentally tinker with it. So what a lot of customers have said recently is they actually kind of gatekeep it. They hide this thing away and then kind of release it to the masses where they feel like it's ready. And then we've decided that we'll just say hello to edit mode. So people can jump into BuildPass and then you have to have a really intentional point in the experience where you kind of say, I'm editing now. And when it's in edit mode, that means no one else can touch it. They can see it, but they're not kind of seeing those changes happen. And that just means people can jump in, have a look around the schedule, understand what things are going on without messing it up.
But BuildPass, Brendan, my subbies, it's hard to keep them all updated.
We have heard a lot about this too. So we're really excited to announce we've also ensured that with this, to be connected to site, we are managing the notifications and reminders for you. You can also then send custom messages just to kind of personalize those things so it doesn't just seem like it's been sent by some bot either.
But BuildPass, I sometimes like having the control over the communications myself.
Sure. There was a few people in this room today that we did speak to over the last few months that mentioned that they want to do that themselves. They might on a Monday morning call up all the subbies, have a chat with them and let them know when they're expected on site that week or maybe over the next couple of weeks. So we'll just let you go and do that. Just publish silently, create that schedule, send it out into the real world, and you can just jump in and confirm all these things manually.
Okay, but BuildPass, these tools, they're often hard for site managers to use, especially on site.
Yes. So again, another customer pain point that we continue to hear is that these things on mobile just totally suck. It's a bit like being in hell. So on that note, we just made it really, really easy to have this thing mobile responsive, accessible on the go, and you've just got really nice control to move through like quite a complicated Gantt chart, or to switch to the table and you can see everything right there with a swipe.
All right, but BuildPass. Wow. What do I do with all this newfound time and less stress in my life?
James, It's obvious what you do now.
Okay.
You go to, no, sorry, that's the wrong slide. We're not going on a trip to Bali. We're actually painting a bit of a scene. This is you every night from henceforth. As BuildPass tucks you in and you get to sleep easy every night knowing that we are taking care of that goddamn schedule.
Can I have the trip to Bali?
You do this.
Okay.
So it's time for a demo.
Awesome.
James,
Let's do this.
lead the way.
All right, let's see it in action. So, I'm a site manager. I mean, obviously, I'm not a site manager. I don't belong on a site. What, the only thing I've nailed is my performance review, right, boss? That's not a good sign. But as a site manager, I have my schedule. And I like my schedule. I put a lot of time into this schedule. Look at those lines. They're crisp. But I want to start using BuildPass's schedule, but I want to go through the effort of having to bring that schedule one by one into BuildPass. So when you create your schedule in BuildPass, you'll be presented with this onboarding flow to help you get started. We've got two main options here. The first is describe what you're going to build. Is it a single story, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, double garage? Or if you have an existing schedule, just give it to BuildPass. And that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to click on Import Schedule. I'm going to browse. I'm going to definitely click this file called Not Prepared Earlier, but it is just a photo of the schedule. And that's what I'm going to select. And we're going to hand it over to AI. And let's see if this AI thing is more useful than that drill I bought from the Aldi center aisle. And it's going to go through, try to bring out all the tasks, the dates, the statuses. And we could have given it a picture, a PDF, an Excel doc, CSV. We could take a screenshot from MS Project. There you go. It's pulled out all of the phases and the different tasks. So we can play around with it a little bit here if we want to add a phase or reorder things, but everything's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to click Next. And what that's going to do is bring it into BuildPass. So here's where we actually, for the first time, get to see our schedule. And it's in this nice table format so we can see it in a nice vertical way. As Brendan mentioned, though, we have these two modes, the preview mode and edit mode. And we're currently in preview mode, which is the default view. So we can only make some minor changes, maybe the status. But if we wanted to actually edit, add tasks, that sort of thing, we need to go into edit mode. So we could either do it from here or from the top right corner, big green button. Let's go and edit the schedule. Hello. There we go. Yep. Say I wanted to add a task. There's multiple ways to do it, but for the quickest way, we could just go to the phase I want to and just add a new task. Call it clean up site. Wonderful, done. Now it's taken a guess. It's put the start dates to the day after the previous task, and it's used the duration of the previous task as well. But if we wanted to modify that, we could just go in there, click on the date range, and just change it to what we want it to be. Let's say we wanted to assign tasks to subcontractors. Well, that's easy. We can just click on the task. Again, pick which subcontractor we want. This one looks great. Why not? Do it for another one. Pick someone else. And why not? Third time's the charm. Brilliant. So that's all well and good. Everything's looking great, but we want to see a Gantt. We want to see a schedule. That's over in the timeline view. So we bring it over. It's the exact same data, but in the way you would expect it to look. And you could do things that you would expect to be able to do. If you want to create a dependency, one task needs to finish before another task starts. You can go ahead, just drag, connect them up like that. If you like everything to be a nice big waterfall, you can go into Actions, click Connect All Tasks, and there we go. Everything's ready to go. Thanks, Brandon. My hat, those confettis aren't in the real thing, but this one is. Say this task finished earlier and wanted to mark it as complete. You can just click that. There's a little baby confetti. Nice little reward for a job well done. Tasks that are dependent, if you move them out, if things change, which they do in the real world, move them out, all tasks that are dependent on it get shifted as well. So that's all well and good, things you'd expect. So I'm done playing with my schedule. I think it's in a good place, and now it's time to start letting people know about these changes. When I click Save, it's going to look at the changes we've made, look at particularly the ones that are assigned to subcontractors, and tell me which ones need notifying. Now, some of them, those tasks are in the past. I'm not going to send an email about that. But other ones, we can pick and choose who we want to notify about these changes. So we can type a custom message, or just leave it, and it'll summarize and send to the subcontractor. So we'll just publish it, let it go. And that'll put it back into the preview mode. So anyone who now goes to this schedule will see your updated changes. What it'll look for like on the subcontractor is they'll get an email. Looks very much like this, with the list of the tasks that have been changed or added or signed, deleted, and an opportunity to confirm them. So the subcontractor can click on any of those links in that email. They get taken to a page like this. They don't need to log in. We want to keep this as frictionless as possible, where they can see all their tasks for that schedule and confirm whether they're good to go. So I can just go through, mark them as confirmed. Wonderful. But if you like the control, if you like to, call up your subbies and make sure they're, good to go, you can click on a task. You can expand the contact. You can see, the contact information, call up whoever you'd like. Once they're good to go, you can manually update it yourself. There is a lot to explore with scheduling, and that was a bit of a whirlwind tour, but I'm going to leave it at that. I'll be around if you want to talk more about scheduling, but I'm going to hand it back to Brendan to talk about what's coming next.
Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. And that was a live demo, and it actually worked. So we are winning today. Cool. So what we just showed you was essentially the basics of a scheduling tool. So I'm just going to tell you a bit more about some of the other basics yet to come. So you'll expect these pretty soon, because we don't just stop now. We kind of keep going and going and building more and more, and it just doesn't stop.
Nope.
Baselines. So this is about tracking how close the plan is to the reality of the situation and seeing if things have been played out longer than they have. We can kind of visualize that, see a lot of that work inside of the scheduling tool. We also then have shareable schedules, just the ability to send this as a live or exported schedule in a variety of different formats to a variety of different audiences. Other basics is things around custom templates. A lot of people did ask for these straight away, but we kind of wanted to play with this AI side of things first, see how that goes, and then templates are a bit easier. So save time by just turning your best schedules into reusable templates. That's coming soon. And then another really cool one that I'm excited for is powerful filtering. This is the ability to filter by things like task status, by defects, by the critical path, by the subby. I think this is a really open place to play. So we can kind of filter by anything, and that sort of feedback from you guys will help guide what we end up building. Then in terms of the cool stuff, linking to BuildPass modules, creating milestones, syncing those scheduled tasks with those site checklists, defects, and more, all in that one view. Then we've got things around subbie availability. We know who the subbies are that you're using across multiple projects. Maybe they're off busy at a different one and you're trying to schedule them in on a time that they're actually totally unavailable. Well, we can just show you that kind of view and say, they're not available. They're working on this different project. So avoid the back and forth, get on it early, be proactive and see who's booked and who's free before assigning them that task. And then, of course, a bit more AI stuff. It's about an AI companion. How do you talk to the schedule? Ask it a bunch of different questions. Ask it to say, this particular task has been pulled out by 3 days. What would that look like? Almost doing a bit of like a scenario mapping exercise with it. I think that kind of stuff is going to be really, really cool.
Cool.
So, BuildPass releases a scheduling tool that just makes sense. You've now got that tool inside of BuildPass as of this morning, and it does work, and it is now connected to your on-site operations. That's it.
That's it.
All right, so we're going to move on to our next speaker about our next major release, and this is going to be from Kinna. Big round of applause again.
All right, thanks everyone. I'm Kinna. I'm another designer here at BuildPass, and for the past 2 months, I've had the pleasure of talking to a bunch of customers about this problem with managing drawings. So the story that I've been told is you have a drawing revision, the architect sends you a new revision, and now you have to do the process of reviewing the change. So now maybe you print it, maybe you have 2 different windows open, but you're squinting, you're figuring out what the changes is. And depending on what tool you've got, now you're also trying to figure out how do we make sure that everyone's on the latest revision? So maybe you have printouts, there's customers that have printouts, there's other customers that have like folders, and they have to move it into an archive. All while people are asking them, hey, where's the latest revision? Let's make sure that we're working off the latest thing. Sounds like a really tedious, painful process. So what if there was a better way to manage your drawings? And that's what I'm going to show you today. So I've got an email here from an architect. Let's open it up. I've just started so that's easy to find. It looks like we've just got revision E, so let's download that. And now in the BuildPass app, I'm going to go to the drawings module. We've got revision D, so we can see that we're hovered over here. What we're going to do now is we're going to upload that set that we just downloaded. So we've got that. Now in the background, what our AI is doing is it's reading the table of contents and it's trying to find the drawing number and revision number. And you can see over here, there's multiple, so there's 3. We're going to split them into individual drawings because sometimes you get a set, but not everything gets updated at the same time. So now it's reading through all of those pages, checking, making sure that it's got the right drawing number, got the right revision number. And if you wanted to check, you can also preview that, and we can see that's A21E, and that matches. So that looks good. We're happy with that. Let's close that out. So now we've got those drawings uploaded. What's really nice about this now is that we can see the difference. So I'm going to select all of that, and I'm going to review. And we can see here what's highlighted is what's changed across the revision. So it looks like something's changed with this quiet room. If I wanted to compare them side by side, I could. So the older version is the one on the left, the newer one is over here, and it looks like we've added some quiet rooms. Sounds nice. If we were unsure about the change and we wanted to chat to a team member about it, we can press skip and it'll stay unreviewed. So we can have that discussion offline, and then once we're happy with it, then we can publish it. But since we're happy with this change, we'll publish it. And what this will do afterwards is now our version will be bumped up to E. So if we click into that file, we'll see that the version has changed to E, and everyone that gets like a link, or whether you're a worker on site, they'll all see version E. So there's no confusion on where the latest revision is. You're always on the latest. So now let's say that we wanted to share this with whether it's a consultant, maybe it's a subcontractor. How do we do that? Let's make a new folder. Let's call it architectural drawings. And now we're going to move all those files into the architectural drawings folder. And now that we've got this, we're going to open the settings. And by default, it's set to only BuildPass admins. But we're going to change this to anyone with the link. And now let's say that I'm emailing the team to say, hey, here's the latest drawing revision. Here's what they'll see. So they'll see this link. They'll see the set of drawings that we've uploaded. And they'll also be able to see that it's on revision E. And if you're a worker, you can also see the drawings in the BuildPass web or app. But today I'll show you the app. So we'll toggle this on to visible to inducted workers. And now let me just pull out my phone and make sure that I connect. Okay, so I'm signed on to this project, and what I can see over here is that there's a new section called Drawings under my induction. I'm going to tap into that, and I can see the architectural drawings folder. Now I can zoom in, I can see those quiet rooms, and if I wanted to get more detail, I can also tilt that. So in terms of what's next for drawings, we're just getting started. This is similar to scheduling. We really want to continue to shape this based on your feedback. So at the end of this session, we'll have some posters that you can add your feedback on. But a bit of a sneak peek, we've got the idea of dropping pins. So maybe you want to see where your defects are on a drawing. Searching content, where's that stairwell? Search it up and we can find it for you. And the engagement log, so you can see who's seen the latest revision, because maybe there's some miscommunication, that's fine. And finally, correspondence. If you want to discuss those revision changes, have an RFI, you can all chat about that in one place. Amazing. So that's all for drawings.
Hello, everyone. So yeah, Aaron, one of the co-founders of BuildPass, along with Matt. So I'm here to show some pretty cool stuff and pretty future forward thinking with AI as well. So kind of an extension to some of the supersized stuff. So a big thing we're hearing often time and time again is construction teams spend hours on repetitive tasks managing data across different tools. We've actually calculated this to be roughly about 10 hours per person per week in a role that's collecting data, whether it be pulling things from your email, spreadsheets, calls, etc. And so the concept of manual repetitive tasks ideally needs to be solved. If you think about the evolution of construction, we all know the kind of the pre-digital age, very manual old processes, paper-based, more prone to human error and repetitive admin tasks. We're now moving very much into the digital age. We've got platforms like BuildPass, kind of helping out with some of the insights, getting things in a really one nice spot online. But in terms of now getting AI added on top of that, which is giving it the next lens. But realistically, there's a next stage beyond that. It's the future autonomous way of AI. It's the proactive execution of tasks. It's doing the work for you, and it's a minimal human impact. It's addressing that need of the manual hours spent collecting this data and formatting it correctly. So again, traditional AI, you may be very familiar with a ChatGPT, or perhaps you've used a BuildPass AI feature today where you're clicking a button and it's very much a manual interaction. It's the one question, one answer approach, reactive, manual, limited context. Whilst amazing in what it does, it still requires you to kind of fire it off. It's still requiring you that kind of human in the loop process as well. We are now moving forward into a new space, and that is what's called, I guess, the AI or agentic AI. Again, with traditional AI, you need to give it all information, you need to tell it what it needs to know, and you have to kind of think for it. However, with AI agents or agentic AI, it's the idea that it gets the information for you. It proactively goes and seeks that, which I think is pretty exciting with BuildPass as well. So agentic AI, again, taking the initiative to get things done, autonomous problem solving, proactive data gathering, and reasoning. So you can kind of see an example on the right over here is it's going ahead and understanding the problem, understanding what steps it should do, planning those all out and getting it done. That is truly what the agentic or agent AI space has been coined as. And that's what we come today. So we actually want to show you BuildPass's kind of stab in the ground at this in terms of construction's first agentic AI experience. We're going to show you a little demo here. So this is brand new, built within this quarter to kind of showcase these features. Now, what we've done here is build a bit of an interface to wrap around what we're calling an agent or an orchestrator of sorts. We've given it a bunch of tools behind the scenes. We haven't told it how to use those tools. We've given it things like get your site diaries, your daily logs, your attendance, your defects, your actions, all your photos. And we've actually said, here's how you do that. And now it's up to you how you want to use that data, which is pretty cool. So we've built a little chat interface. I don't think chat will be the long-term thing here as well, very much kind of the transparent things invisible, but this is where we kind of are today. So we can do things like just write me today's site diary or check the compliance gaps, who's on site, and it should know how to get all that information. So we'll just go with an example first of writing today's site diary. So first of all, you need to understand how we actually want to write that. It's actually going to go ahead and get my previous written site diaries from previous days to weeks to understand how I like to write it. It's going to then use that information to then go ahead and find the rest of the kind of the gap of knowledge. In this case here, if I scroll back up to the top, it's getting things like the weather report. It's getting things like this is site attendance, who's on site. It's getting defects, site photos, permits, and messages as well. That's previously what I wrote on it as well. It's using all of that information and kind of packaging into one little nice little site diary here. I can then talk to the site diary. I could update it and get it to address, but it's gone ahead and actually sourced all that information for you, which is the great thing. At the end of the day, we don't want to be limited by these tiles here. And so what's really awesome is that you can just type to it. You can actually upload photos or ask questions about, which is really important. So I'm going to ask it a question here. So get me all of the sign-ons for the last fortnight and see if there's any open or active defects. So what I'm trying to do here is understand, well, other workers coming on site that have actual defects assigned to them but haven't really been addressed as well. And so it should be able to do that. It can actually go ahead and understand, well, you talked about sign-ons, well, I'll go get the sign-on data. Talked about defects, I'll go get the defect data, and just kind of cross-match and using the AI to understand that. And so now it's gone ahead and given me a huge list of all the workers to come back, and I can go, well, can you get me those workers' phone numbers so I can call them? And again, it's going to know how to get that stuff. It's going to go off and do it and actually pull that data in, which is super awesome. And again, these are just some examples here. I've given all of the tools on that BuildPass data. Again, just to be very clear, it is locked down to just your account and just your user. It's not spreading. It doesn't learn. Doesn't do all that. It's really specific. It's not leaking that and training on your data at all. But it is the concept of like giving the AI to learn how do you like to learn on site as well and try to reduce the overall administration burden as well. So we could do reporting from here. We could do assessments. We could really kind of go to your heart's content and kind of what's here as well. So that's a little sneak peek and kind of how it should work and what it does. And we're very interested to see kind of how everyone here wants to use it as well and what questions you might ask it. So, yeah. And yeah, to close out on this one, again, it comes back down to the future of construction. For us as an industry where zero busy work, what I mean by that is you're not focusing on this admin that really gets in the way. You're not trying to find the data and you just want to get the action done with a focus on relationships, strategy, and actually building. So yeah, thank you, everyone. Surprise, you also have me again for the next one. So I want to talk today about integration. So we've shown off some pretty cool stuff, some major releases, new apps, some AI, some future thinking. However, there's also stuff that we've been doing behind the scenes to kind of extend out the ecosystem as well. So at BuildPass, we're being a very strong and big believer that your data should be yours. It should be up to you how you export, connect, and own your information. We do not want data silos. We do not want to say, your BuildPass stays in, so your data stays in BuildPass, you can never export it out. And for us, it's super important to use the right tool for each job phase. We acknowledge that what BuildPass does today is very much the on-site operations. It's getting the construction site set up and ready to go and moving on towards that. There is so many more tools, so many more aspects to construction that we don't currently cover that realistically you have data sitting there that you need help with as well. So today we are launching 3 new integrations with some incredible partners, Premier, BuildExact, and Stick. And the whole idea is around starting to sync your BuildPass project subcontractor data into BuildPass to simplify your flow. This is like V1. It's a ground floor of building in some of this data. We could take this even further. We could idealistically have this concept of linking BuildPass insurances to these systems here, and we could potentially update or block payments if expired insurances. We could help kind of realistically kind of create this feedback loop with on-site data that's real here and affect other parts of your business in a really positive way. So these integrators, these partners here today actually are around the room. So do say hi if you do see them as well. If you want more information, please do reach out to understand more about how we can integrate as well. I also want to touch on the fact that we're also wanting to build a bit of an ecosystem internally as well. So we want you to be able to build and connect and build tools with BuildPass. So whilst it's a bit more techie and nerdy here, we're actually building out a platform for you to be able to build in and create the tools that you need to get your jobs done as well, which is fantastic. So we've got a developers.buildpass.global, which is our developer ecosystem to help build these tools on as well, which is great. Again, these are all just the kind of the first iteration. This is our quarter into building some stuff. There should be amazing integrations to come and extensions of the existing ones, which we've got as well. And lastly, touching on, whilst there's been some incredible new things being built, big features, I do want to acknowledge that whilst we've talked about some amazing things, we have not stopped to think about the needs of everyone here as well. So you've asked and we've delivered just in Q1 alone. So not even including the work that you've seen today, we've actually shipped 400 individual changes and improvements and fixes to the platform as well. And also captured 200 pieces of feedback, and reviewed that, and then it's going to be used to build out the next kind of like iterations of a platform. So I do want to say a huge thank you to everyone here and to all of our customers. Realistically, this feedback is how we build the platform that we've built today, and it's also how we improve your lives as well. So honestly, that is one thing at BuildPass that we probably almost don't appreciate, but appreciate so much the feedback that everyone here. So big thank you as well. So it's incredible to see what we've been built as well as all the little fixes as well. So I think that is it to close out integrations. Thank you.
So from here, guys, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for coming. This is our first ever in-person event that we've done. We really appreciate having some friendly people here that weren't going to mock us when things went wrong. Luckily, they were pretty good. But from here, so like we said, scheduling and drawings, they're available in your account today. Please do scan that QR code to sign up to the waitlist to Super Site. That's a really exciting. But otherwise, thank you so much for coming, and please have a chat to our team who are all around, standing around here. We'd love to chat with you. But thank you so much.